Hey everyone. So I wanted to give you a visual on how to actually make our forecasts for the second part of the worksheet where we use Map 1 and 2. So if we take a look at the first one, we have what is your forecast for most of Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. So I would look at the map and I have Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Basically, the only symbol above it is a very large H. So remember, when we're making our forecast, we always want to look back at our reference sheet just to make sure that everything is good to go. So let me actually, all right, so if we look for the H that's on this one, an H, we know, is high pressure. So what kind of weather does a high pressure system bring? We have cool, dry air, sunny skies, and a light breeze. So basically, we would be putting over here, Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania will experience a high pressure system with sunny skies, cool, dry air, and a light breeze. Then if we take a look at number 8, what kind of front is affecting the area west of Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, and what type of weather will it bring? So if we look back on the map, this is the area we're talking about. We want to look at the area west. So that's going to be in this area right here. So the only symbol that we are recognizing is going to be this cold front running through. These over here are actually wind direction and wind speed markers. We didn't necessarily learn about them, so we don't need to worry about them. But over here, what we do know is there's a cold front. So if we look back at our reference sheet, over here, we're looking for a cold front. What kind of weather does cold front bring? Boom, right here. Cold front brings heavy precipitation, strong winds, and then cooler temperatures. So that makes sense. We have for number 8, the area west of Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania is experiencing a cold front, which brings strong winds, heavy precipitation, and then colder temperatures. The next one we have is Louisiana. Forecast the temperature for Louisiana. Louisiana is actually covered up a little bit with a big L. So again, if we see an L there, we would know to check our reference sheet. And an L represents low pressure. Low pressure brings warm, humid air, stormy weather, strong winds. And we go back to the answer key. Oh, look at that. Louisiana is experiencing a low pressure system which brings warm, humid air, strong winds, and a large storm. Okay, so that's basically how we keep going back and forth between finding the area, looking at the reference sheet, and then telling what it is and what it brings. We have to do both of those things. What's the name of it? What does it bring? So if we go back to the map, the next one is asking, name an area on the map that's experiencing a high pressure system. How do we know that it's a high pressure system? And we have over here, we're just looking for any high pressure. Here's one, that'd be North Dakota and South Dakota. And we know it's high pressure because there's a big old H on top of it. So at this point, we're done looking at map 1, and we actually want to look at map 2 now. So map 2 is going to be this. And map 2 is saying, okay, 3 days after map 1, how has the weather changed in Ohio from 3 days ago? So if I look at Ohio, I have right over here. Now you can see Ohio is going to be getting a cold front, within that day. So you'd say, okay, cold front brings heavy rain, strong winds, and then cooler temperatures afterwards. And again, we don't need to worry about these wind symbols, but it actually does show that the wind is coming from this direction where the cold front's coming, go figure, and it's fairly strong because we have 1.5 notches up top. So we are heading back to our worksheet. See what the next one shows. How has the weather changed in Louisiana? So if we look down at Louisiana, hopefully you can see in kind of this little part down here. I bet you can. Louisiana is kind of clear. Actually, I'll make it a little bit larger because this is a unique situation. So Louisiana is fairly clear. We have a little bit of a cold front running through the tail end of Louisiana, but there's nothing directly above it. So our best bet is to kind of go with the high pressure system. And that kind of makes sense because think about what happens after a cold front comes through. You have heavy rain, you have your precipitation, you have your winds, but then afterwards, it gets a little bit cooler. That's almost sort of like a high pressure system, okay? We have cool, dry air, sunny skies, light breeze. So it does kind of make sense that after a cold front, Louisiana would be experiencing a high pressure system, which would bring that cool, dry air, sunny skies, and a light breeze. So back to our worksheet. We have number 13, what kind of pressure system is affecting Maine and what will the weather be like? We have Maine is up here, right over here. It is going to be experiencing a high pressure system. That's the nearest thing. This cold front is not in the area. Like if it's a front, it needs to be physically in that state. So right now, the high pressure system is the only thing that's going to be affecting it. So it's going to have cool, dry air, sunny skies, and a light breeze again. And then 14 is kind of interesting. It's asking, what will the weather be like in the East Coast in a few days? So the East Coast is just right around here. I'll go back to our large picture so you can see. East Coast is the coastline of any state that's along the eastern part of the US. So as we have a cold front coming through, in a few days it'll eventually get to the eastern side of the US. Remember that when we have weather moving across the US, it goes from the northwest to the southeast. So this cold front is eventually going to make it down in this area. So if we have a cold front coming through, we're going to have heavy rain, strong winds, and then cooler temperatures afterwards. And that'll be in a few days' time. And then, like we said, for our last one, it asks what direction does the weather move in across the US? And we said weather typically moves from the northwest to the southeast. All right, if you guys have any other questions on this worksheet or just how to make a forecast in general, you can always reach out to me via email or Google Classroom, probably easier. And I'll be posting more of these videos eventually as we move further in our remote learning. So I hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you later.